Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakadash.
And double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect. We're the brothers of Great Millstone, Miami, and we're going to continue with our series of breakdowns. We got through the book of Revelation, which that was beautiful. And then last week we went into the breakdown of the lineage, the genealogy of the sons of God. All right, going all the way from the creation, Adam, all right, Abel, Seth, and then all the way down to Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, so now we're going to go through Genesis, starting at chapter 1, and we'll see how far we can get. Genesis is one of those books where it seems like it's going to take some time, all right, to get through chapter by chapter. So, hey, let's go for it, and Lord willing, this is edifying. Genesis 1 and 1. And we should already know precepts. John chapter 1, Job 38. That's another one.
Mm-hmm. And Genesis is also the Hebrew word Bara'ashiath, which literally means in the beginning. Ba in Ra'ash, the heading or the beginning. Yaf at the end. So Genesis 1 and 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Right. And
we know God right there. If you go into the Lashawan Kodash, which is the holy tongue, it tells you Alahayim, and it tells you right here plural, rulers, judges, divine ones, angels. So it's the Most High, His Son, and the angels with Him. So verse 1, again, in the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Salaki, you want to get somebody get John 1, so we could further elaborate on that power.
This is the book of John, chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, "In the beginning was the Word." Which the word in the beginning was the word is talking about our Lord Yahushua. That's right. It says, and the word was with the powers. Mm-hmm. I've been reading verbatim and I'll break it down. It says, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. And how you break it down is John chapter 1 verse 1 says, in the beginning was the word is Yahushua. It says, and the word was with the powers, and the word was. It says the word was a God, and the word was a power. So Yahushua was in the beginning with the angels creating everything. Mm-hmm. All right. Verse 2, it says the same was in the beginning with the powers. Verse 3, it says all things were made by Him, and with Him was not anything made that was made.
So without Him.
Oh, so I'll read it again. John chapter 1 verse 3 says all things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made.
Right.
So it was Yahushua and the angels that created everything through the blueprint of the Heavenly Father Yahweh.
Right.
That's right.
Jump to John 15 and 27.
Right. Yeah. I got a quick precept to about Yahushua being that word, and through Him, the heavens were made. Psalm 33 verse 6. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of His mouth.
Right.
All right. That goes to show you that Yahushua, all right, yeah, He made the heavens and He made the angels.
Right.
Okay.
Was that John?
Yeah. It goes to show you that the so-called white man's food system or school system is totally against the Most High. Mm-hmm. From elementary school, they're telling you about a Big Bang.
Right.
Yeah.
Deceivers. Is John chapter 15 and verse 27 says, and He also bear witness because ye have been with me from the beginning.
That's right.
So the disciples turned apostles was what Yahushua from the beginning, man, showing you that it was multiple. It was judges. You know what I'm saying? It was not just solely one person, man. And Yahushua was the leader of that. Can you go to Hebrews, the first chapter? Oh, go ahead. 1 and 1? Yeah. Well, you can start at 1 and 1 and then jump down to like verse 7 through 9.
Okay.
I know 7 through 10.
Okay. I'll read 1 and 2. It's Hebrews chapter 1 verse 1. It says the Most High Yahweh at sundry times in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets. Verse 2, it says, have in these last days spoken to us by his son, his son is Yahushua, whom he had appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. So Yahushua created everything with the angels.
That's right.
He said, jump down to verse 7.
Yeah, you go to 7 through 10.
Okay. This book of Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 7 says, and of the angels he saith, who maketh his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire. Verse 8, but unto the Son he saith, thy throne, O Yahweh, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. Verse 9, thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity. Therefore Yahweh, even thy power, has anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. Verse 10, and thou, Lord, in the beginning hast laid the foundation of the earth. In the heavens are the works of thine hand.
That's right.
Boom. You laid the foundations of the earth from the beginning. Hebrews 11 and 3.
Right, and I do just want to point out the fact that in Hebrews 1 and 9 it says, the Lord hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a
Okay, above thy fellows. So Yahushua has fellows.
Right.
He has men of stature that are close to him.
Right.
Okay, and then it says the heavens are the works of thine hands.
Yep.
All right, Yahushua being the right hand of the Most High, and the other Alahayim and the angels also being the hands of the Lord. Like sometimes you'll hear it in the courts of royals or dignitaries, politicians. All right, I'll send my hand. You know what I'm saying? Or this is my right hand man. That's what the purpose of Yahushua and the angels are to the Most High.
That's right.
Okay.
And his fellow brethren, Romans 8, real quickly, Romans 8, and I'll go to verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are called according to his purpose, for whom he did foreknow. He also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. So there was many brethren with Yahushua. He was just the firstborn. He was actually the first creation. Because it tells you the Alahayim in Genesis 1 and 1 that the Alahayim created the heaven and earth. You know?
Right.
So Yahushua the first spirit and his brothers with him.
Right. Colossians chapter 1.
I just told him.
Colossians 1 and 16. For by him were all things created that are in heaven, and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions, or principalities, or principalities, the water, our powers. All things were created by him and for him.
Verse 17.
And he is before all things, and by him all things consist.
There you go.
Yep. Woo.
Right. And he is the head of the body, the
Oh
church.
yeah, verse 18.
Verse 18. And he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have the preeminence.
Right.
Right. That's pretty much it.
Right.
All right. So there you go. The Most High created Yahushua first, and then through Yahushua created the angels, and then Yahushua and the angels created everything else.
Everything else that we see today. Which is why I wanted to grab Hebrews 11 and 3.
Whether they be invisible or visible.
Yep.
You have Hebrews. Oh, that's perfect.
Hebrews
That's
11
perfect.
and 3.
Yep.
Hebrews 11 and 3. Matter of fact, I started 1. Can you start 1? It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, which we figured out who the word of the Most High is through John the 1st chapter. So that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Yep.
You have to.
Yeah, I get John 17. He was with Yahushua with the Most High from the beginning. He said, glorify me. If he has something,
That's a
good one.
Another one. And also, if you could pull up Psalm 103, verse 20.
said verse 20, right?
Right.
This is Psalms 103, verse 20. Bless the Lord Yahweh, ye his angels that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word.
That's right.
And verse 21.
Verse 21. Ye are the verse 21. Bless ye the Lord Yahweh, all ye his hosts, ye ministers of his that do his pleasure. Bless the Lord Yahweh, all his works in all places of his dominion. Bless the Lord Yahweh, O my soul.
Right. So the angels are his ministers. They do his commandments.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the Lord decreed that the heavens and the earth was made, and it was through Yahweh Shai and the angels, the Elohim, all right, the sons of God, that everything was made.
Right.
Okay. He spoke it, and then it was done through his commandment. The same. That's how a true king operates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Saint John, what you want to Saint John?
17. You just get to the point. Well, start at verse 4. Well, I'll start at verse 4. John chapter 17, verse 4. It says, I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. So Yahweh Shai, he did the will of the Heavenly Father Yahweh. Verse 5 it says, and now, O Father, glorify thou me with thy own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was.
That's right.
So Yahweh Shai, he was with the Lord before the Heavenly Father Yahweh made Yahweh Shai made everything else, man. Because he's the only begotten. He's the only begotten son of the Heavenly Father Yahweh.
That's right. The Alpha and Omega.
In
The
the
first.
in the end.
That's right. The first thing that the Heavenly Father created, period, was Yahweh Shai.
Right.
Before anything else, any spirit, anything seen or unseen, it was Yahweh Shai, and everything was put under him.
Right. That was his prime creation.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's his firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
I got a quick precept. Revelation 4:11. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created.
That's right.
Right. So that just goes to show you the just a level of humility right there. Because the Lord used Yahweh Shai and the angels to create everything, but that would not have been possible without the power of the Lord to begin with.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's just a level of understanding, knowing that even the Elohim know that the 144,000 and Yahweh Shai knows that the Father is their ultimate power source.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
Without him, there would be nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, God, same way the architect gets the
Yeah,
props
props. Yep.
for the building.
It's like when they said, this is good. If it was the actual, the person that, like the Most High, he already know he made it. He wouldn't have to say, "Oh, this is good."
Mm-hmm.
So, the angel like, "Okay, this is good." What he thought
This is
of.
a perfect
It's a
word.
perfect,
Perfect idea.
perfect
Really
idea.
giving him praise.
Yeah.
Right, give him praise, God. That's right. Which somebody could get Job 38 now. Whatever. That's just the first verse, man. of the Bible.
Powerful.
Yep. Job 30:4.
38 and 38 and 4.
Where was thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who has laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who has stretched the line upon it? Who measured it out? Who wrote the plan, the master plan? Set the blueprint. There you go.
Right.
Whereupon are the foundations therefore fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of the Most High shouted for joy. Boom. So that was
it was good.
Yep, saw that it was good. It was a major day. Esau is against the scriptures, man. He still can't explain his own bullshit. Big Bang Theory, fuck shit.
Evolution and all that shit.
Right, but he got all that madness from the Sumerians, ancient Sumer, ancient Babylon, Nimrod, and he got that and he just repackaged it.
Mhm.
That's all that is. All that evolution, all these little different scientific theories. When you can even look it up. We ain't got to do that now. You know what I'm saying? But you go into it. All these ancient philosophers and ancient religions believe in that bullshit. He just trying to repackage it like it's own, like it's his own. But the whole point is to take glory away from the Most High, His sons, His son and His sons, for creating the heavens and the earth, because He's been rejected.
Yeah. This Ephesians 3 verse 8. Well, 8 and 9. I'll read 8 and 9. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 8. It says, "Unto me who am less than all." Sorry, I'm reading it. Ephesians 3 and 8. It says, "Unto me who am less than the least of all saints," is the Apostle Paul. It says, This is grace given that I should preach among the Gentiles," which is the Israelite foreigners, "the unsearchable riches in Hamashiach." Verse 9, it says, "And to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery, which from the beginning of the world have been hid in the Most High, who created all things by Yahushua."
Man,
Ooh, that's
clean.
clean. That's clean.
Damn, that's on point. That's on point.
Yeah, so the Lord gave us this understanding, so we know the things from the beginning. Local and probably elect, we was with Yahushua,
That's
creating
right.
the Elohim,
That's right. So Genesis 1 and 1 again. In the beginning, the Elohim, the powers, the judges created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the spirit of the Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. And the Most High said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Right? So the earth was not, it was not, formed as it is right now.
Right.
A solid rock, with its mountains and all these different things. It was void. It was empty.
Right.
But the Lord had the angels move upon the face of the waters, which the waters is going into what? The heavens, man. The heavens. Going to that word waters is Shemayim, pertaining to waters. And the Lord said, "Let there be light." Now, this is key because we're about to go a couple more verses. You're going to see that light came before day.
Mm-hmm.
It said, "The Most High, let there be light." And there was light. And the Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And the Elohim divided the light from the darkness. So you had light and darkness before there was day and night. Before there was the sun and the moon, forgive me. Verse 5, "And the Most High called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day." So there you go. You had day and night. You had light and darkness, in which the Apostles Tahar and brothers have gone into before. You have the international dateline. You actually have a aura upon the earth where, on one side it is light and one side it is dark. Verse 6, it says, "And Elohim said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Right. The firmament is what? Talking about the atmosphere, in the different levels of the atmosphere. And it said, "Let us divide the waters from the waters." So that's the waters that's under the Earth's atmosphere, the ozone, and the other waters, which is what? Space.
That's the second heaven.
Right, the second heaven, like the brother Knox just said. So the atmosphere is there. That's why, we able to breathe down here, but out of space you can't breathe.
Right.
That firmament is dividing this heaven that we live in right here from the heavens, which is out of space.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Now you have different states of water.
Yep.
Because water comes in different states. It comes in liquid.
Mm-hmm.
It comes in gas. It comes in solid ice, and it goes even thinner than that, which is outer space.
Mm-hmm. Hey, here's a precept. 2 Peter chapter 3. I'll start at verse 5. I'll start at verse 3. "Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers walking after their own lusts." And that's anybody who comes up against this truth, who comes up against the Most High. "And saying, Where is the promise of His coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. So Apostle Peter is breaking down how the earth was standing out of water and in water. You know, basically that division of being in its own atmosphere and the earth just standing in space.
Right, hanging upon nothing.
Right, just hanging on nothing. And the Lord flooded it with water.
Right.
You know? But yeah, back at Genesis 1 and 6. And the Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
I got a quick preset.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop Lloyd made a statement. He said the earth is hanging on nothing. This is the book of Job, chapter 26, verse 7. He stretches out the north over the empty place and hangeth the earth upon nothing. Right, just get back what Bishop Lloyd said.
That's right. That's right. So Genesis 1 and 7, it says, and the Elohim made the firmament, the atmosphere, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And the Most High, the Elohim, called the firmament heaven. And the Hebrew word for that is shemayim, which means pertaining to waters, literally. And the evening and the morning were the second day. Now, verse 9.
I mean, say the scripture say one day with the Lord is 1,000 years.
Oh yeah,
So it's like it was 1,000 year. Each day was 1,000 year period.
Yeah, somebody read it.
Mm-hmm.
Peter's.
Yeah. There's another one too in Psalm.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. It says, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. You know, so it was 1,000 year period for the first day, 1,000 year period for the second day, you know.
This is Psalm chapter 90, verse 4. It says, for 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday, when it is past, and as a watch in the night.
Mm-hmm. That's right. There we go. Hey, Genesis 1 and 9. And the Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And the Elohim called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And the Elohim saw that it was good. Right. The earth, the land was all together in one place, and that's what you have the term Pangea. You know, if I could look that up real quick. If it'll come up. Yep, Pangea. Because if you look at the you look at these different land masses, they fit together like a puzzle. I mean, you could be as a little kid, you see that, you know, it fit together as a puzzle. So we know that this broke up during the first flood, you know. Pangea.
Well, Peleg, since you mentioned Peleg, Hanan, Peleg is when the Lord divided the languages.
Okay.
But prior to that, the Lord did break up the continents. So all the continents with the flood.
Yep. Pangea, basically that means all earth, right? Or all land.
All land.
Pan is all. Yeah, and Gaia, earth. Pangea. All right. Verse 9. And the Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And the Elohim called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And the Elohim saw that it was good. And the Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And the Elohim saw that it was good. In the evening and the morning were the third day, or the third 1,000 years.
I just wanted to make a quick point. That's how you know the fruit, the quote-unquote fruits that you see today are not really fruit. Because a fruit is supposed to have a seed within itself, man. So all these seedless shit, they're not really fruits, man. You know?
Right.
It's like GMO shit.
Right. what psalm is that? The foundations of the earth are out of course. Psalm 68. 82. There we go. Psalm 82. It's going into. It's beautiful. Psalm 82, and I'll start at verse 6. No, verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course, to the point where you can't get grapes with seeds in it, watermelon with seeds in it, or oranges with seeds in it. You know, I have said, ye are gods, going into this lesson. And all of you are the children of the Most High, because we had that former state as being the Elohim who helped create these things. That's the former state that we had. But ye shall die like man and fall like one of the princes. And as we continue in Genesis, we're going to see that. It says, arise, O power, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. And that's prophecy in which we're coming into that time. But back at Genesis 1 and
Everybody following?
Verse 13, it says, in the evening, in the morning were the third day. And the Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So here we are. The Lord created light in night, right? Day and night. He created light and darkness, but he created that on the second day. Here we are on the fourth day. The Lord creates the sun and the moon. To let you know there was day and night before there was the sun and the moon.
Right.
And the sun and the moon are for signs, for seasons, for days and years. And the sun is to rule a day. It does burn the mountains with its heat, the rays that it gives. But there is a light, before the sun.
Right. Light exists as a concept, as a thing.
Right.
Outside of the actual celestial bodies.
Right.
Okay. That's a cut. That goes to show you, man. People want to say, the Bible took from this, took from that. Well, these other philosophies worship the sun and the moon and the stars. Some of their chief deities are the sun gods, the moon gods, the gods of the stars. Well, the Bible tells you that those things came later.
Right.
Okay. All right. And that it was the sons of God that created the heavens and the earth and created the concept and the idea of light and darkness, all right, and day and night before the celestial bodies actually came into being. All right, the celestial bodies, sun, the moon, and the stars are meant to give us, signs of what day and night is.
That's right.
To distinguish the day from the night. All right, to give us signs of the high holy days and, different seasons and stuff like that.
I got a precept. Just to land back the signs and the seasons. Genesis chapter 8, verse 22. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and
You said Genesis?
Genesis chapter 8, verse 22.
22, okay. All right.
While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
So it's always going to be cold and hot. Summer, winter, different seasons, harvest. Springtime. It's always going to be day and night. Those things shall not cease.
All right.
Which that goes back to Jeremiah 31, I believe that is, where it says, if those ordinances shall depart from the Lord.
Jeremiah, Jeremiah. I believe so. And that's what makes the earth run anyways. Cold and heat, day and night, summer, winter, the different seasons. That's why we're able to breathe the air we breathe, and that's why, we have the trees yielding fruit, these different climates which they all work together for the good, even for us to live upon the planet Earth.
That's right.
Migration patterns of animals.
What verse is that?
I believe it's towards the end after the Lord talks about the new covenant.
Yeah, it's after that.
Mm.
So it's like 30.
You know what? Let me look. Let me see.
31, 35.
35? All right. Jeremiah 31:35. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, said the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
Right.
So boom. Them ordinances are still up there.
They gonna forever be up there.
Right, they ain't going nowhere.
That's right.
I mean, Israel ain't going nowhere.
That's right.
And we gonna go back into where the Lord created us to be, which is above the nations.
Right. And again, this will show you Esau's the devil because he'll teach, well, in a jillion years, the sun will expand. And it'll blow up,
He a
and
demon.
it'll consume, the planets, and then
Right.
collapse, and then the black hole, and the stars are always constantly dying, being reborn, and the moon will eventually spin out of orbit of the planet. They're lies, man.
You don't know
Just
shit.
blasphemy. Let's just talk about speaking evil against dignities, man.
Yep.
He opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped. This man is the devil, man.
Yep.
Okay, that's pseudo fucking science, bro.
Right, man.
Hey, and really, Esau, the only thing what he would try to do is he'll lob a nuke at the moon to try to blow it up.
Right.
To try. That's it, because he's a devil.
Right.
Like, he'll use his fucking, sword. And that's what he is. It's the only right to even make an attempt to take away
Right.
the moon, which he can't anyway.
Right.
Right. Eventually, the universe will expand, and everything will just blow apart, or it will condense, and everything will blow up again. Again, all this shit goes back to idolatry and witchcraft and fucking mysticism. The ancient Babylonians.
Here's Isaiah chapter 66, verse 23. It says, "And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord." And this is prophecy after the destruction that we prophesied is coming to America. Babylon the Great. The Lord is going to nuke this place, and the Lord is going to make the heavens and the earth like new again. And then in the kingdom, we're going to be doing the Sabbath from one Sabbath to another, which it tells you that's what the moon is for. That from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. So.
I took
I had Sirach
Sirach 43?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I wanted to wait till we got to first.
The next verse?
What we had? We had 16, right?
We at 16, yep.
Yeah, it's this is Sirach 43. And I started verse 1. It's Sirach 43 and 1. It says, "The pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven, with his glorious show. The sun, when it appeareth, declaring at his rising a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. At noon it parcheth the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof?
Right.
A man blowing a furnace is in worst of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more." You had mentioned that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing out fiery vapors and sending forth bright beams, it dimmeth the eyes.
Yep. Yep.
Something so okay to watch.
Yeah. You try to look straight at the sun. It's gonna burn your eyes.
He's gonna be wearing glasses real soon. It's not ready.
So like, verse 5. Inside, right? Verse 5. "Great is the Lord that made it, and at his commandment runneth hastily.
Mm-hmm.
He made the moon also to serve in her season
Mm.
for a declaration of times and a sign of the world.
That's right.
For the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection."
That's right.
I just want to elaborate. You notice where it says in 6, and he made the moon also to serve in her seasons for declaration of times and a sign of the world. What's been going on? All these blood moons,
Yep.
all these, wolf moons, pink
Yep.
moons, red moons.
Yep.
That's a sign of the world. These people live in like freaking demon time. You know, on another level.
That's right.
These people gonna be judged, man.
And they la-di-da-di-da,
Yeah, man.
everything.
Right.
Right.
Man, it goes show you the wisdom of the Most High, because you can't, like, it's in the sky. You know what I'm saying? It's a giant, shining body in the sky.
Mhm.
You can't miss it, man.
You can't miss it.
Right.
So that's an even greater condemnation to people, man.
Right.
All right, because I mean, come on, the moon turned blood, it turned red. Like that should
We should see that.
you should see that, and light bulbs should
Yeah.
be going off. Like, okay, what is the Most High trying to say?
Right.
The moon looks enlarged than it usually is.
Right.
It actually
Right.
does.
It
Look at
clicked.
that tonight.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It should click something in your head, bro.
Right. And it's been doing that recently more than it has been doing in all of our lives.
Right.
As far as time after time after time, these past several years, man, letting us know that our Lord is coming.
That's right.
You know.
Joel 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's
Verse 8. The month is called.
verse 7.
Verse 7. Salaki. Dwala. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
That's
So
right.
when the moon is perfect, it's considered a new moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which you can't.
Well, no, when the moon is
Oh,
perfect,
it's
it's
decreasing from its perfection, right?
Yeah.
right. When the moon is in her perfection, it's
It's
full
full
moon.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, but the point is, it says what? Verse 8, the month is called after her name,
Right.
increasing wonderfully in her changing. All right, so the month begins with the new moon, and then the light increases in her changing.
Come.
What does the word month come from?
Moon.
Moon.
Verse 8, the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest place of the Lord.
Mm-hmm. One more verse.
Verse 10, at the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order and never faint in their watches.
That's right, man. You know, it says from the moon is a sign of feast. When the moon is in its perfection, which is the full moon, that is what? The Passover.
Passover.
You know, during the first month.
14
know?
days.
You know, 14 days after the new moon. You know, and it's you know, hey, verse 32. There are yet here greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works. For the Lord has made all things, and to the godly has he given wisdom. There we go.
I was going to bring out Ecclesiastes 3 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
It says, Ecclesiastes 3 and 14 says, I know that whatsoever Yahweh doeth, it shall be forever. So these ordinances going to always be here. It says, neither can be put to it, nor anything taken from it, and the Most High doeth it, that men shall fear before him. So those ordinances going to always stand. And now we was going into the moon cycle. All right, well, it's like waxing, waning. You got new moon, you got the crescent. You know,
Yeah.
That's how you.
Something like that.
Hey, that's how you know the time. Esau with his calendar, when you got the Gregorian calendar, the Julius calendar. That's all. That's when we came out of Egypt, we didn't have a calendar. That's how we know the time by the moon. The scripture talk about Issachar. They knew the signs of the heavens, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could read the time. That's how we tell the times and days. You know,
That's right.
when you go to that word weeks, it means like to change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when you go from weeks, like different, like 4 weeks in the month. You know, because the moon changed. That's why they get the name weeks from. You know.
Mm-hmm. All right, back at Genesis 1 and 15. I started 15 again. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And the Elohim made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
Oh, can I say something? Hey, that just crushed science, falsely so called. Because what they usually say, the moon gets its light from the sun. Nah, they both have their own light source.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And you see that. Sometimes you'll see the sun over here,
And you
the
see
moon over
right.
there.
Esau tried too hard, bro. Like, he's ridiculous. You could clearly see that the moon is its own light, man. You know? And it says it here in the first chapter of the whole Bible.
Right.
You know, verse 17, it says, and Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness.
Yep.
And Elohim saw that it was good. In the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Verse 20. And Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life. So we remember that part. The moving creature that has life. And fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And Elohim created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And the Elohim saw that it was good, and the Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. So yes, you had not only the great whales, the fish, the fowls of the air, but every moving creature that has life. You know, so even humans, even man, you know.
Just to say this, even with Noah, you had the animals that's also called creatures, and Noah and his people. I mean, Noah and his family are creatures.
Right.
And the Lord kept them, for to survive the flood.
Right, to replenish the earth.
Right.
We real creations. We are moving creatures that have life.
Right.
You know, we came from the waters.
Right, a sperm cell swims.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. You know, you can pretty much put a newborn baby in a pool and they swim like professionals.
Mhm.
Better.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And they are in the water.
Right.
Yeah.
In the womb.
Right.
That's why when a pregnant woman is ready to deliver, they say what? My water has broken.
Right.
Water comes out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's why we're mostly made up of water. You know.
75, they say.
Like, yeah. You know. So yes, man came from the waters at first, and then over time we began to, you know,
Lord put us on that.
put us on land.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll use the word evolve, but not in the way that Esau says. Is different, you know. But every moving creature did come from the sea. You know, you have a lot of elements and all. Remember, it was nothing upon the face of the deep, and the Lord put the seas together and then allowed the land to come up. You know. But verse 22, it says, in the Most High, in the Elohim, bless them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth, which birds. In the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And the Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind. After his kind.
Right.
Cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so.
So it's the diversification of the living creature, right?
Mm-hmm. And the Elohim made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And the Elohim saw that it was good. So things were made in the sea first, and then on land. That's why you got land creatures. They'll tell you, even Esau himself will tell you, they have members of their family or species that's from the sea, or they came from the sea, which they're, you know, right about in the sense of, in some cases, you know. Verse 26, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image.
Right. Now that's the sons of God.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
After our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Right. So the Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of the Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them on the sixth day. You know?
I get a precept.
Mhm.
Is that Second Ezra chapter 6. It's a lot. Second Ezra chapter 6. I'll start at verse 38, and I'll just read to 53. I'll just read through it fast.
Mm-hmm.
It says, Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 38. It says, and I said, O Lord, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day thou sayest thus, So he recounting what we read in Genesis right now. Yeah, it's very good. 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 38 says, "And I said, O Lord, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and saidest thus, let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work.
Mm-hmm.
And then was the spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed." Verse 40 says, "Then commandest thou a fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear." That's the first day. Verse 41. "Upon the second day thou madest the spirit of the firmament, and commandest it to part asunder, to make a division betwixt the waters, and that the one might go up, and the other remaineth beneath." Going to the firmament. Verse 42 says, "Upon the third day thou didst command that the waters should be gathered in the seventh part of this earth. 6 part hast thou dried up, and kept them, to the intent that these some being planted of the Most High until might serve thee." Verse 43, "For as soon as thy word went forth, the work was made. For immediately there was great and innumerable fruit, and many and diverse pleasures for the taste, and flowers of unchangeable colors, and odors, and wonderful smells. And this..." Sorry.
Not so like I had.
That's okay.
Switched it.
All
What
right.
verse you?
44.
44. There we go.
It says, "For immediately there was great and innumerable fruit, and many and diverse pleasures for the taste, and flowers of unchangeable color, and odors of wonderful smell. And this was done the third day."
Imagine how that looked.
Yeah.
This shit over there smells stink.
Yeah.
This was Eden, man.
Right.
You know, Lord making, Eden, paradise, man. The earth ain't nowhere near like what this was.
When you go off into like a garden or something, you go to like one of these nature parks and you can't really smell the
Right.
plants and stuff like that. You see lavender, you're supposed to smell that lavender.
It's supposed to be potent.
Yeah.
You know, you don't gotta fucking stick your whole face into the bush to smell it.
Right.
You gotta eat, bro.
Odors of wonderful smell.
Verse 45, it says, 2nd Ezra 6 and 45, it says, "Upon the 4th day thou commandest that the sun should shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars should be in order." Verse 46, "And gavest them a charge to do service unto men that was to be made." Verse 47, "Upon the 5th day thou saidest unto the 7th part, where the waters were gathered, that it shall bring forth living creatures." Well, that was on the 5th day. It says, "Creatures, fowls, and fishes, and so it came to pass." Verse 48, "For the dumb water and without life brought forth living things at the commandment of the Most High, that all people might praise thy wonderful works, wondrous works." Verse 49, "Then didst thou ordain..."
Oh man, you know what? Slack it, man. So it said for the dumb water, it was without life. The sea has plankton and all those different things down there that help create life. They help to give more oxygen. So it was really just nothing in there.
Yeah, it was just nothing but elements.
Right.
Elements in the water.
Right.
And the Lord, through the Elohim, gave it life.
Mm-hmm.
That all people might praise thy wondrous works.
That's right.
So, which I believe the book of Proverbs describes the locust and the conies as a feeble folk. So animals have their own order.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying they're like almost like the people. The scriptures say what?
And the ants.
Are people not strong?
Yeah.
But she prepared for meat in the summer.
Yep.
The whole creation of the beast from the waters to the land, and then eventually the sons of God, the creatures, the Lord creating the creatures from the 5th day all the way until the 6th day is giving the division of the natural order. You know what I'm saying? The division of creatures and their how they were distinguished. So they call on
Yep. 2nd Ezra 6 and 49 says, "Then didst thou ordain 2 living creatures, the one thou callest Enoch, and the other Leviathan." Right? Enoch going into man, and Leviathan to the sea creatures.
Right.
With the Leviathan, he's I believe he's the biggest one.
He's the king of the water.
Right. Yeah, he's the king of all the children of pride. That's Job, I want to say. That's right.
There
Right.
goes Leviathan playing with the ships.
Playing with the
Yeah.
ships.
And it's more than one. you know?
Mhm.
Yep.
It's a species.
Hey, prepare to
Say
see
be
them
fruitful,
soon.
say fruitful
That's
multiply.
right.
Mhm.
Right,
You
right.
better not be saying no Godzilla.
Like an Ammon. All right, what is that? Verse 50. All right, verse 50. No, where's that? Yeah, verse 50 says, and did it separate the one from the other for the seventh part, namely, where the water was gathered together, might not hold them both.
Mm.
You know, verse 51. It says, you know, because sea animals, they have their habitation, and we have ours. You know,
Right.
we live on earth. Verse 51 says, unto Enoch thou gavest one part which was dried up the third day, that he should dwell in the same part wherein are made 1,000 hills. Verse 52, it says, but unto Leviathan thou gavest the seventh part, namely the moist, and hast kept him to be devoured, of whom thou wilt and when. Verse 53, I'll just keep this is the last one. It says, upon the sixth day thou gavest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things.
Mhm.
So he was just he was telling Ezra to break down.
One more verse.
One more? Okay, good. Verse 54, it says, and after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also, of whom thou hast chosen.
Right.
Factory.
Right. So the Lord created man. He called Adam, and he created that line.
Yep.
You know, that Adam himself with his sons, the people also whom thou hast chosen. But he gave man dominion over the animals, the beasts, all the creation. He gave us the land to till. He gave us the fruits, you know, dominion over the beast. You know, separating man from beast, but going even further, separating the righteous seed, the sons of that man, Adam, from the rest of men who were created upon the earth.
That's right. Yep. And that's why Noah had the power to command the beasts to go into the ark.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Lord gave Adam dominion over all the creatures. And when you go into the book of Genesis chapter 2, which we're going to get into soon, all right, the Lord gave Adam the dominion to name the animals. All right, to give every one of the creatures their classification and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that power, that ability, that authority went all the way down from Adam even unto Noah. Okay, but then eventually the Lord put the fear of man upon all the beasts. All right, we lost that power because we fell.
Mm-hmm.
You can come back though.
Right, it's not coming back. Which scripture say in Job, "What thou shalt have dominion over the beasts of the field."
Mm-hmm. Being legal.
Yeah. You know, was Elisha, you know, how he commanded sheep bears, and Elijah was fed by the ravens.
You know,
Daniel.
Yeah.
You know what? Quick 2 precepts, real quick, because that is beautiful. Let's go to that. Job 5, going into dominion over the beast. Job 5 and 23. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation, and shall not sin. Now, this is going into the last days, the 6 and 7 troubles, which the Lord is going to keep his elect from. Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. The Lord is going to manifest spiritual power in his men in these latter times, which you're going to be in league with the stones of the field, which is the elements, And the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. Going into what, man? Going back into that estate that we were. So we got to go back to Romans 8 real quick.
Hey, if I could say real quick, because that Job, the verse above, it says we're not going to be afraid of the beast. The reason why we're not going to be afraid of the beast is the Lord will put that spirit on us, and we're going to have dominion over the beast again.
Right. And why is that happening? Because we're coming back into our power.
Yep.
We're going back to our former estate, which begins with this wisdom and this knowledge, man. The Holy Spirit, upon us through Yahweh's sacrifice. But Romans 8 and 19, it says, for the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God, man. So, man, the Lord's going to be manifesting his sons in these latter days, and it's going to get back to where the beasts of the field are going to be in league with his men. Lord willing, we're of that number,
Yep. Hey, Yahushua was able to command the fishes to go into the net for his disciples.
Yep.
Got a quick precept to land back with being in league with the beast. Book of Hosea, chapter 2, verse 18. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I'll break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. It's talking about the Israelites being in league with the beasts. And if you go into the NOT version, just to elaborate on that day I will make a covenant with the wild animals and the birds of the sky and the animals that scurry along the ground, so they will not harm you. I will remove all weapons of war from the land, all swords and bows, so you can live unafraid in peace and safety. So that's what we want. That's what the Lord's going to give us as long as we continue in this truth.
That's right.
That's why Isaiah 65 goes into they shall not hurt or destroy in all thy holy mountain. Says the Lord. And Isaiah 11 says the wolf and the lamb shall feed together.
Yep.
And the lion shall eat straw as an ox, and the child shall play with the serpent.
Yep. That's what we going back to a better state than Eden, But back at Genesis 1:27, it says, so the Elohim created man in his own image, with the knowledge, the wisdom of the Most High, having dominion over the beasts, and the Lord really giving his men a way to live, even though a law wasn't written. Men knew what the Heavenly Father wanted, basically, as far as being fruitful and multiply, how to till the land, having dominion, and of course the seed of the sons of the Most High were on a higher level, man. In the image of the Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them at the same time. So verse 28, and the Elohim blessed them, and the Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And the Elohim said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. So what's his name? Dr. Sebi, he be going off. Because he be talking about fruits and vegetables. He'd say not to eat. He ain't have the full download.
He said not to eat fruits and vegetables?
Yes.
Certain.
Yeah. It's a whole list he got of certain things not to eat.
Oh, that's why he's in the spirit world.
He ain't have the download, man. But
I'll get a precept. It's Psalm chapter 104, 14. Psalm chapter 104, verse 14. It says, he causes the grass to grow for the cattle, and herb for the service of men, that he may bring forth food out of the earth.
Right. So to grow for the cattle, so we could have food from cows, from the cattle, from lambs, from goats. The Lord gave us meat, like literal meat, what we call meat, of animals, and also the herb,
Sirach 38 and verse 4. It says, the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
That's right.
That's what we get our food. You're supposed to get your food from the earth, man. That's the medicines, like different herbs and stuff. And now Esau, he's got these GMO shit, shit batter on your body,
Right, that's right. And it's beautiful you mentioned that, because the foods that we're supposed to eat, the herbs and stuff like that, that was supposed to put nutrients in our body, energy to keep us going. You know what I'm saying? To help prolong our longevity. You know what I'm saying? But this motherfucker here.
Bro. Take the nutrients out of the food and then put it in pill form.
Right, put shit off. Like for instance, right, orange juice, right? The way they make orange juice, they actually take the natural oranges, squeeze the natural oranges. They take the vitamin C out of the oranges, out of the orange juice, all right? Then they pasteurize it. Then they put the vitamin C that they took out back into the orange juice to prolong longevity of shelf life, bro.
Right. It's all about money with them.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all about money and control.
It's anti-life.
They sell you the food that ain't got the nutrients, but then sell you the nutrients in pill
In the
form.
pill form.
Right.
It's still bullshit.
Right, and
It's
then
still bullshit.
corrupt that,
Yeah.
you know, to put other things in it to get you hooked on it,
Right.
you know.
Or just fillers.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of these vitamins and pills and stuff
Yeah.
like that shouldn't be having fillers in it. It just be fucking probably powdered sand or something in there.
Yeah.
Right.
And here it is, you thinking, oh, it's really magnesium or this or that. It's not, man.
Where in the Bible is organic?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is there an organic and a non-organic?
Everything is supposed to be organic.
Right.
Right.
Like that.
Which is crazy because everything that is alive should be considered organic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So
So organic doesn't not necessarily mean healthy. Everything that's created out of elements should be considered organic.
Right.
But organic does not necessarily mean healthy. That's why there's a distinguishment between clean and unclean foods. Devil.
yep, he done did it, man.
Yep.
He's the abomination of desolation.
This is why he has to be taken out of power, man.
Verse 5 in Sirach says, "Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? And the Lord did that with his men before. They threw wood and it turned the water sweet. And he has given men skill that he might be honored in his marvelous works. With such does he heal men and take away their pains." You know?
You probably see because you got like natural painkillers and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Garlic, turmeric.
Yeah.
A cayenne pepper, you know,
Yep.
that's good for the circulation of the heart, man. So if you have high blood pressure, I was going into that. Like, it's very good to use cayenne pepper if you have high blood pressure. You know.
Or you can put it in your water.
Yeah.
Onion too. If you use onion with cayenne pepper, because onion is a good blood flow. Helps regulate the blood flow in your system. So yeah, man. So all that we need is it's supposed to be coming from the earth. Man. We're not
Right.
supposed to go to the devil for you know what I'm saying?
Right. Even animals know that.
Yeah,
Right.
right. That's why when you see a dog, if you ever catch a dog fucking eating up freaking grass, just know that dog feels the illness, so it's resorting to eating the herbs, man.
Yep.
It's getting chlorophyll.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's beautiful you said that because my cat Nala, she ran out. The first thing she went to grab was the grass so she can eat it. And that's when I knew that she threw up. It was like a couple of months ago, but that's when I was like, oh shoot, she's not feeling well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went out the house and did that.
So Genesis 1:29 again, and the Elohim said, "Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat," and meat right here means food.
Right.
"And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat," and it was so. And the Elohim saw everything that he made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
That's right.
That's right. So, yeah. So at one point, the beasts of the earth, the fowl of the air, were just eating of the herbs. You know, at one point. But Genesis 2:1.
I didn't have a precept out of Job 40, just to go into Job 40 and 15. It says, "Behold now Behemoth, which I made with thee, he eateth grass as an ox." All right, which Behemoth is a colossal beast that the Lord made. We don't know exactly what, but nonetheless, it says that he is a beast and that he eateth grass as an ox, and he was made with thee. All right, so that just goes to show that man and beast were created around the same time. Okay, just wanted to bring that out. The Lord gave, everything is different order.
Don't they usually call that behemoth like dinosaurs and stuff?
Yeah,
Or
dinosaurs.
the long one.
Yeah.
The one that you seen in what is it?
Jurassic Park.
No, the time living before time.
Land Before
Oh,
Time.
Yeah, Brontosaurus.
Yeah.
That's what they,
That's what they say, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
The Lord got different distinguishment of creatures.
There you go.
So, who knows?
Yeah.
They put billions of years on.
Right, Bill. You know what? What's beautiful about the times we in? We finna know everything. So
Right.
everything finna be revealed.
What's 1 Corinthians 13?
1 Corinthians 13.
I shall I shall know even as I know.
That's right. And the Lord knows every hair on our head. So we finna have wisdom of everything, man. From the history and creation, how everything works, and even the universe. But yeah, let's go. Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day, the Elohim ended his work, which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And the Most High blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which the Most High created and made. These, let me look at this real quick. I would still say Elohim, because at some point it's going to get into it.
It says the Lord God.
Yeah, it's going to start saying the Lord God. Yeah, there it goes. Verse 3. And the Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work, which Elohim created and made. These are the generations of the heaven and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord Yahweh God made the earth and the heavens. Hold on, let's see what it say for Lord God. Bam, Yahweh. Bam, right there in your face. You know what's raw about this? Because the Lord give in Genesis and even in Matthew's and different genealogies, he said, and this is the generations of this man or these people. But the Lord give you the generations of the heavens and of the earth.
Right. Right. And it says generations, which that's something that that kind of stands out too, because it goes to show you that it was a process of generation after generation. It wasn't just 7 days or 7 nights.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Generations of heaven and earth. So there was people being born, and over the course of 1,000 years, animals coming, different things like that. So which means that more than a multitude.
That's right. So verse 5, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord Yahweh God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. Right. Right, which you still have. You still have dew upon the planet Earth. You go outside, a lot of times it didn't rain, but it's the leaves are moist. The ground is moist, and sometimes you have a little fog or a mist coming up because the sun is beating down on the dew. For the Lord Yahweh had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground.
So the plants were just growing naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The mist from the earth. The earth's moist. The soil, man.
Giving it life.
Yep. Verse 7. That's why you have a phrase on the scriptures like good ground. Able to good soil, good dirt. You plant something that's able to bring forth life rather than some dried up, cracky ass dirt. Ain't nothing growing in that. Verse 7, it says, and the Lord Yahweh God formed man of the dust of the ground, the elements, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. That's right. The wisdom and understanding.
When we think of Ezekiel 37.
Because the Lord created the other beasts, but it's calling man a living soul. That understanding. You got something?
Yeah. This book of Sirach 17, in verse 1. Sirach 17 and 1. It says, the Lord Yahweh created man of the earth and turned him into it again. So the Lord made Adam of the earth, the elements. And that's the scripture say, your flesh, when you die, your flesh goes to the ground, but your spirit goes back to the heaven.
Yep. That's Ecclesiastes 12. And the precept?
Come on, get that Ezekiel 37.
Ezekiel 37. That's what I want. And the hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones. And he caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry.
Yeah, so Ezekiel seen people seen us over here in America, man, in the little state.
Little state.
Yeah, because the valley is a little land, and America is a little shallow place, man.
Mm-hmm.
We had no identity,
Yeah, full of bones, dead,
no
Mm-hmm.
oil.
no oil, in a dead state. Yeah. Alright.
3, and he said to me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord, God, thou knowest. And again he said to me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This said the Lord God unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter unto you, and ye shall live.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
Wisdom and understanding.
That's right.
You know, us remembering ourselves.
Yep.
Con.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the Lord gave. Well, don't scripture say wisdom is as a breath of life?
Yeah, wisdom of
Mhm.
Solomon. Well, I think that's it. That's right.
So basically, the Lord gave Adam
I know this one.
the wisdom to know how to live.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
The Holy Spirit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
is it this,
I thought it was wisdom. The one I got wisdom of
is
Solomon.
it 2 Ezra 16?
I got a quick precept while you're looking for that.
Go ahead.
Job 33 and 4.
Yeah, one, too.
The Spirit of the Most High hath made me, and the breath of Almighty hath given me life.
Mm.
2 Ezra 16:61. He made man and put his heart in the midst of the body, and gave him breath of life and understanding.
Hold on, let me get that up on the screen for edification. Okay. Pretty fast. 2 Ezra, and we're gonna read that again. That was a good one. 16 and what?
61.
Yep. That's a beautiful one. Read it again.
He made man and put his heart in the midst of the body,
Mm.
and gave him breath and life and understanding.
Right. And heart goes what? Goes to what? The mind.
Bob.
The lob.
Wow.
He
Right.
put his mind in the midst of the body and gave him breath, life, and understanding. Mm-mm-mm.
Can somebody get the 6 operations from the Lord?
I know that's
That's a Sirach.
Uh-huh. Go to Apocrypha real quick. Sirach 17 and 5. They received, let me start at verse, let me start at verse 1. The Lord created man of the earth and turned him into it again. He gave them few days and a short time, and power also over the things therein. He endued them with strength by themselves, and made them according to his image, and put the fear of man upon all flesh, and gave him dominion over beasts and fowls. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord. And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding. And in the 7th, speech, an interpreter of the cogitations thereof.
Yep.
You know, Esau like to say 5 senses, and this word operations is really going into senses. With the Heavenly Father, there's a spirit also. So with the 6th, you have the spirit of understanding, and in the 7th, able to take all that knowledge and understanding and communicate, interpret the cogitations, what's going on in your mind. You know, come on, man, it's deep, man.
Right.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you know the elites. That's what they're trying to attack, our understanding. That's why they're coming at us. All right. But they didn't count for the spirit, man.
Hey, verse 6, counsel in the tongue, and eyes, ears, and the heart gave he them to understand. Withal, he filled them with the knowledge of understanding, and showed them good and evil. You know,
Wow.
and that's why the Lord said he made man upright.
Right.
But wicked are his inventions. You know,
Many wicked addictions.
yeah, he sought out many wicked inventions. You know, and that's really talking about the righteous seed. You know, he set his eyes upon their hearts, that he might show them the greatness of his works. He gave them to glory in his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding. and the elect shall praise his holy name. I had to read
That's
that.
you know that's the elect
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
that has the true understanding.
And shit, going into what Lloyd just went into, giving us an understanding how to live. Verse 11, beside this, he gave them knowledge in the law of life for an inheritance. Now, that's what we have in the scriptures, you know, in the laws, the statutes, and the judgments that, you know, just for edification's sake, Psalm 147, 19, 20, because we have the law of life. The other nations, they worship idols. They have death,
Right.
you know.
That's why the Lord said there's no breath in them.
Right.
So idols ain't got no breath in them.
Right.
You know, whereas Yahweh Shemel Shai, the true living God, you know, Yahweh, which Yahweh means to be, to exist, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Hayah in the Hebrew goes to breath,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to life. All right, he has the life. He's the fountain of living waters. He has the breath, you know.
Hey, Psalm 147, 19, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai. So yeah, you know. But back at Genesis chapter 2.
Oh,
go ahead.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 25, right? Verse 25.
I had that. I knew that's what you was looking for.
I want to say there's another one, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
yeah. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 24 says, "For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore, no defiled thing. Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into her."
Mm-hmm.
And it says, "For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of His goodness."
Mm.
All right, so when it's to say the Elohim created man in His image, that was the Most High giving the sons of God, all right, that wisdom. Okay, all right, and making them truly His sons. All right, it says, "And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining herself, she maketh all things new, and in all ages." So that goes back to Genesis, the book of Genesis, right? That was an age, the generations, right? "And in all ages, entering into holy souls, Adam, she maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets." Okay, so there's that.
Verse 28.
Oh, of course, "For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom."
Israel.
God.
Righteous seed. So back in Genesis. Oh, you got one?
Yeah, the next Wisdom of Solomon 8, like the last verse 21.
What's the song? 8? You said 21?
Yeah.
That's it.
It says, I'll just read it. It says, Wisdom of Solomon 8:21 says, "Nevertheless, when I perceived that I could not otherwise attain her, except the Most High gave her me, and that was a point of wisdom also to know whose gift she was. I prayed unto the Lord and besought Him, and with my whole heart I said," you know. So like Lawyer, the brother Lawyer said, it's the Most High that has the wisdom, you know. So the Lord gave the wisdom to His men, you know, starting with the men, you know.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
It's a gift.
Right.
You gotta acknowledge where she comes
She
from.
used to
Right.
It's hard, bro.
So what?
It's hard, bro.
Yeah.
It's a lot, kind of hard.
No.
You can go back to Genesis for now.
Genesis 2 and 7. "And the Lord Yahweh, our God, formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul."
Yeah. Also, you know, of course, we have mentioned coming from the ground. Also, in the what we read in Ezekiel 37, in the lost state. You know what I'm saying? Because dust could go as confusion as well. The Lord taking us out of the confused state and breathing His lost state. You know, breathing His understanding upon us, man. That life. You know what I'm saying? Giving us instruction of a way to carry ourselves.
That's right.
Yeah, bringing us from a lower state.
Yeah.
You know,
That's right. Verse 8. The Lord Yahweh our God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Right, the man whom he had formed. So the garden eastward in Eden is the land of Israel, the land of Canaan, you know. And there he put the man Adam, who he formed and gave the breath of life, you know, his wisdom and knowledge and understanding, you know, which he didn't give to the other men who were created upon the earth at that time.
Right. He gave Adam the whole download.
Right. You know, special treatment. Verse 9. And out of the ground made the Lord Yahweh to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You know.
Now, the tree of life, the scriptures also describe wisdom as a tree of life.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so in the scriptures, you'll see wisdom described as different things like light, you know what I'm saying, or a woman, or water, or a tree of life, or the breath of life. All right, so the tree of life here is also dealing with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High gave the sons of God that was in the garden.
That was in the land of Israel.
In the land of Israel.
You know? And it's going to go back full circle. That's why Revelation said he's going to give us the tree of life again. You know? Because now we done learned good and evil. You know? But yes, this is Adam, this is a metaphor, allegory of what actually happened. The Lord had that seed from Adam, you know, in the garden, you know, and the Lord had wisdom and knowledge there, you know, compared to the other places on the planet Earth where man was at that point, you know. And it says, and out of the ground made the Lord Yahweh to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the river went out of Eden to water the garden. And from thence it was parted and became into four heads. So that river is the Jordan. Mm-hmm. In verse 11, it says the name of the first is Pison. And that's going into the Red Sea. That is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And if you do your research, anybody watching, you can go and click on it yourself. It's really going down to that land with the sons of Ishmael, like Saudi Arabia type stuff. Yep. Verse 12, and the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium in the onyx stone. Verse 13, and the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. Now that's the Nile, you know, and what you look at a map today and see Ethiopia, that's not the same as an ancient map of Ethiopia, you know, which covered a whole lot of that land over there in Eastern Africa, you know. But verse 14, it says, and the name of the third river is Hiddekel, which is the Tigris. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. Still has the same name.
Same name, which that's where the war of Armageddon gonna be at. That's right.
Verse 15, and the Lord Yahweh took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord Yahweh commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. You know, the Lord gave you, we was in a good estate. The Lord said, don't touch that knowledge of good and evil, you know, knowing how to do wrong and, you know, all the wickedness of these other nations. Really. Verse 18. And the Lord Yahweh said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an help meet for him. And out of the ground the Lord Yahweh formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found a helpmeet for him. You know?
But they say that's when you get the odd alphabets.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, he had the Hebrew, he named all the animals. Like owl is like a cow.
Mm-hmm. A lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just want to say that.
Right. I want to say the lamad looks like a serpent.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
The camel. Was it Lot?
Gamal.
Gamal.
Yeah, come on. Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah. So all the beasts originally had Hebrew names.
Right. Everything was first named Lashwan Kodash, man. That's the holy tongue. That's what the Lord, recognized. He gave Adam, the unction to do so. Verse 21, it says, and the Lord Yahweh caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. Now, throughout the Bible, the Lord put many men into deep sleep, which in other words are trances. Adam, the Lord ain't just literally knocked Adam out and then took one of his ribs from his little,
Right.
rib cage.
Right.
No, Adam was in a trance, and the Lord showed him that his wife would come from a close relative,
Right.
bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh, flesh of his flesh, and bone of his bone. Because remember, the Lord created he, them. In Genesis 1, man and woman created he, them.
I appreciate
Right.
Mm-hmm.
flesh, the bone of my bone.
Yep.
This is Genesis 29. Genesis 29. I'm sorry. All right. Sorry, Genesis 29, I started at verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 9. It said 9 up there. Genesis 29 and verse 9, it says, and while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. Verse 10, and it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother. All right, that's his uncle. It says, in the sheep of Laban's, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. Verse 11, and Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. Verse 12, and Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 13, it says, and it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings, the news of Jacob's, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embrace him and kiss him and brought him to his house and he told Laban all these things. Verse 14, it says, and Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and of my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. So they came from the same lineage.
Right. They were close
They
relatives.
were close relatives.
That's why Jake would say, "That's my flesh and blood."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
If I'm correct, blood is created in the bone marrow.
Mm.
So back at Genesis 2.
So basically, verse 21 was being broken down. The Lord put Adam in a trance, in a deep sleep. Okay, and in the trance, the Lord, in the dream, is taking a rib. Adam sees the Lord take a rib out of his side and form it into a woman. All right, and what that's supposed to represent is how the Lord pretty much sought a wife for Adam of his own bloodline.
That's right.
And when he woke up, he saw the woman of his dreams.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he saw.
Verse 22, in the rib which the Lord Yahweh had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And the word woman also means what? Wife. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed, because they did not know what they had not yet eaten of the tree of what? Good and evil. They had not known sin. Yeah, they were innocent.
Like a little child. Sometimes walk around the house naked.
Yeah,
They don't know
they
it's
don't
innocent.
know they do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
They was just living free,
Yeah.
They ain't touch. They didn't touch of the tree of good and evil yet, so they were good.
No
They were
shame.
straight. You know, they were not ashamed. You know. Yeah.
They wore clothes.
Yeah, they wore clothes.
Right.
Bring it out. Say it louder for us. Bring it out.
Clothes,
Right.
They had on clothes.
Brothers, bring it out.
Freaks.
Let 'em find
Ridiculous. They walk
That's
around naked.
But Esau takes that shit literally. That's why he does what he does on Earth, man.
You see the
Yeah.
magazine covers.
Right.
They got them naked. And
Yeah, they
got
were like
apple.
They
Yeah.
got
No.
they got
Put the
fucking
the fig leaves.
yeah, the fig leaves around
Yeah.
Eve's chest and shit. And, man, fucking weirdo.
We used to believe that shit.
You know, they used to make shit go out of the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, Genesis 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can we go a little longer?
We can shit. Let's run through 3. Let's go through 3.
Come. Yeah, follow him in. There you go.
Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman, yeah, has the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. That sounds like the so-called white man.
Yeah.
And it is the so-called white man.
Right.
And he said,
Go ahead.
you know, man,
Right. The serpent was a man.
right. And just to spoil it, you know, let's go straight to the
I said just
let's go straight to the end.
You got the picture. I was like, yeah, you can get
Let's
it.
go straight to the end. The see who the serpent is. Revelation 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Dragon is a serpent, you know, and that dragon goes to the beast, man. And then you had a dream about the beast, the 4th beast, you know, which was a dragon. You know, in Revelation it tells you about the dragon again. You know, he was prophesied, and that's the Roman Empire. In which today you have the new Roman Empire all over again, the rebirth of it with America, NATO, and the EU, the so-called white man ruling again. It said, and it prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven, because Yahushua said even himself, he saw Satan fall as lightning from heaven.
That's right.
You know, meaning the so-called white man is going to fall from his rulership.
No more rulership.
So verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. So that spirit, that same spirit that was back in the garden, is the same spirit that's going to be ruling at the coming of our Lord when the Lord brings him down.
Right. Who? Esau, Edom.
Esau, Edom, the
Right.
so-called white man.
That's right. Which that links up with 2nd Ezra, calls him the wicked.
Mhm.
You know, according to Malachi chapter 1, that the wicked is the nation of Esau, man. And his coming is after the working of Satan with all power, sign, and lying wonders, man.
Mhm.
So, okay, so the same spirit that was in the garden, okay, upon the serpent, okay, all right, that deceived Eve, all right, is the same spirit that's upon the so-called white man Esau, Edom.
That's right.
Okay, that's why the Lord said that he was going to put enmity between the serpent's seed and the seed of the woman. All right, which that again, you go into Genesis. All right, it says what 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Esau and Jacob, and that's why there's that perpetual hatred between Esau and Jacob. All right, because of the enmity that goes back to the garden because of what the serpent did.
Mm. Hey, Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus says the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord has indignation forever. You know, so what we're reading in Genesis is their first incarnation as the serpent, man. And you know, Psalm 58.
Yeah, Psalm 58.
Verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. You know, their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, because they won't hear the words of the Lord. You know, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Break their teeth, O God, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord. So yeah, the wicked, their poison is as of a serpent. connecting Esau, Edom, who is the wicked, to the serpent, who he was as a nation in their first, carnation, in their first estate, man.
Right.
And
their poison is their words.
mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. The same way a serpent's power is in its mouth, its fangs, its venom. All right. That's the same way Esau's power is in his words, man. All right. His deception, his witchcraft, man.
That's right.
All right. And you see Esau always opening his mouth with some shit. You ever notice that about Esau always talking about something?
Yeah, it's all.
And then lying.
And lying, bro. Always got an opinion. Which, hey, beautiful. You got the word. What's that?
Nakash.
Nakash.
Now, right here it says serpent, snake, serpent, image of a serpent, a fleeing serpent. But if you go into the root of it,
Could
which
you go down real quick?
A snake from its hiss, a serpent. But if you go into the root, which is the same pronunciation, Nakash, it goes into enchantment, divine, enchanter, But to practice divination, divine, observe signs, learn by experience, to diligently observe, practice fortune telling, take as an omen, to practice divination, to observe the signs of omens, man.
Right.
And that's what he does on the left hand side and in darkness.
Right. He's a witch.
Right.
Which Isaiah 47, stand out with thine enchantment,
Mm-hmm.
the daughter of Babylon, the daughter of Chaldeans, man. All right, that's why the scripture always talk about Esau and his wisdom, all right, his understanding, okay, all right, his charms, his witchcraft, man. All right, he's the serpent.
He also, Revelation say he had not repented from his sorcery.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
God. Right. Because
So we're bringing it around circle.
full circle. God. Yeah.
The Lord called his rulership a serpent, the dragon.
Straight up.
Straight up. The red dragon, man.
Like Elder Yashua said, he started off as a serpent, then he did
Yeah. For real.
The dragon's still a serpent.
Right.
So verse 2, and the woman said unto the serpent, now this woman is Eve, which the so-called black woman, she goes back to Eve, This is what happened, today in these times.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman said unto the serpent, why are you talking to the serpent anyway?
Yeah.
We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High has said, you should not eat of it. Neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die.
It's a lie.
That was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
For the Most High does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And what is the saying? In order to tell a lie, you must know the truth.
Right.
Now, at the end of it all, once the Lord comes and deliver his elect, Lord, when we have that number, we are going to be as gods, knowing good and evil, knowing righteousness and knowing what it is to do wickedness and to go off and the punishments, the consequences of that.
Mm-hmm.
But he lied in saying that you ain't going to die.
Right.
And it took thousands of years from that point to the point we at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we waiting on perfection to still come.
Don't that sound like Esau Edom?
Yeah.
He hating on your status, so he come out of nowhere. Let me try to supplant you so you can fall from your status.
Right. Which you say was never trust thine enemy.
Right.
For as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching like a serpent,
Yep.
and take good heed of him, then thou shalt be as though thou hast wiped away a looking glass, man.
Right.
So you say, well, who will pity a charmer that is bitten of a serpent, and anyone who cometh nigh unto wild beasts, man? Who shall pity, man?
Right.
All right, that's Esau, Edom, man.
Right.
All right, which you see, Esau is jealous of Jacob, man.
Yeah.
He envies Jacob, but like she'll say, what there's a righteous man and his neighbor seduceth him. All right, he's trying to cast you down from your excellency, man. So the serpent was really envious of Adam and Eve and the sons of God and how it was all set up, man. All right, so he came like a snake to try to, usurp and to subvert what the Lord had going on by going at the woman, and that's you see the same thing today.
Check this out real quick. Sirach 37. Never trust thy enemy, because Sirach 37:8. Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he has, for he will counsel for himself, lest he cast a lot upon thee. That's what Esau does to our people, man. even when it comes to your health, he really doing it to kill you, and so he could, benefit off of it, and whatever it is, you go to them for a loan, you go to them for this, that. They really got plans to f you up as a people, so they could stay on top of you.
That's it.
Right, nosy ass.
Overthrow you. Yeah.
The fuck, nosy ass. What business you got talking to Eve about this, man? Yeah, he has the Most High said.
Right.
That's Esau, the sarcasm. Esau in the wordplay. That's Esau, bro.
So verse 5, Genesis 3 and 5, it says, "For the Most High does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil." Trying to supplant it, really trying to enchant her, bewitch her with knowing the left-hand side of things,
right.
In which our woman is into today. You could type it in Google. The black woman has left the church to go to witchcraft,
Right.
which the church is wicked in itself, the black church, but still she's waxing worse and worse.
Right. I mean, in general, women tend to be more into witchcraft than men.
Mm-hmm.
More gullible. They're more curious in their mind. The forbidden.
Yep.
They're into that stuff. Whatever religion you're looking at, Christianity, yoga, tantra, stone, sage, all that. It's mostly be women that's into that stuff like that.
Deprived from wisdom.
Right. Because she trying to go find out. You know what I'm saying? So she saw that, like it says, she saw that the tree was pleasant to the eyes, and that was desired to make one wise. You get wisdom through experience. So that's why women are the way they are. Esau throughout whatever philosophy, feminism, go be a hoe, abortion, they bite it.
Right. Yep.
Because they feel like it to stay within the confines of the Most High is limiting them on what they could know.
Right.
It goes back to what the serpent said, "Ye shall be a god,"
Right.
having that power. And Bishop Lloyd made a point with that whole abortion.
Yes.
That gives them that power. Like, I can do what I want with my body. Who are you? That's the ultimate, satanic, mindset.
Bro,
Right.
Taraji P. Henson said it basically just like that. She hosted the BET Awards this year. She basically said it. She like, how they gonna tell us what to do with our bodies when we have power to give life or not to give it if we don't want to? Basically, wow.
That's it.
Also, it was to get over on the man as we see Eve do today, because the order that was set up was man and then woman. You know what I'm saying? So the serpent was able to freaking finagle her to feel like she could be over Adam.
To this day, that the woman shot the pastor, man.
Right. This is like casting spells on niggas. You know what I'm saying? Put it in the spaghetti and shit.
Don't eat the spaghetti.
Right. For real, man. Bitch want to get you spaghetti the first time y'all vibe? Nah. Hey, Genesis.
That's not because we afraid of witchcraft.
Right.
It should say don't eat blood.
Right.
You gotta be certain.
Right. Hey, Genesis 3 and 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So, as the scripture tells us in the New Testament, Eve was deceived.
Go get it.
Call it out.
He's holding it.
Hey man, that's how you know. Hey, we got the correct breakdown, man. Because when you go into the philosophies of these heathens, they top gods be women.
Yep.
All right, the top most prominent deities be women. So that goes to show you that the knowledge of good and evil is talking about that witchcraft and idolatry on the left hand side, man. Which is why the serpent, when you go into the root word, it goes into fortune telling the omen, divination, stuff like that, man. Witchcraft, man. Okay, go ahead, bro.
We went into that. This is 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 13. It says, "For Adam was first formed, then Eve." Verse 14. "And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression."
Right.
Was that Sirach? Yeah, you got it.
Ecclesiastes gives us Sirach 25 and 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, through her we all die.
Yep. There you go, right there. Read them and weep. It's hella precepts too. Shit.
Yes.
But yeah, you get the picture. It tells you straight up. It tells you the story. Everyone knows that Eve was beguiled, man. You know, by the serpent. And here she is today. That's why she go, instead of getting married and being fruitful and multiply, she go to school for fucking 4 to 12 years.
Learn how to be a witch.
Learn how to be a witch. Now she's a lawyer. Now she's the doctor. She's all of these different things out of her place, though, where she has a beautiful lot, which the Lord gave her to be a woman, to give birth, to nourish another human being.
Right.
Well, since when is that
A problem.
a problem?
That's
wow.
a beautiful order. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she want to go to school to go be a doctor. Right. Well, you could be a doctor to your children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of spending money, thousands, billions of dollars in a university, breaking your fucking neck. You know what I'm saying? God knows what happened in the hospital. You got different male doctors hitting on you, all types of shit. You could be a doctor to your own children. So-called doctor, you know what I'm saying? A nurse. Yeah.
What would happen if man said they don't want to ejaculate anymore?
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
It would be no more life.
There'd be nobody.
If man said they no nut all year, you know how they say no nut November?
Yeah.
You know, but a woman wants to go against nature and not have babies.
Yeah, that's your ordinance.
That's because the devil has gotten into her brain, bro.
Right.
Wow. So yeah, man.
Covenant.
Verse 7. And the eyes of them both were opened. Yeah, shit. They knew wickedness now.
Right.
Good and evil. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked.
Right. The Lord took the spirit off of them.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And you know, the scriptures talk about white garments, clean garments, which is the truth, the knowledge. So in this, with the fig leaves and aprons, it's really talking about the philosophies, the beliefs, the cultures of the other nations that were around about them. You know, the different ways of living, the different idolatries, the different witchcrafts, and all those different things.
Right. Even how they dress.
Yep.
You know, dressing like a heathen. The scriptures talk about those that are clothed in strange apparel.
Mhm.
Right. Covering with the covering, but not of my spirit.
And that's powerful. Bring that out. That's a heavy scripture right there.
Mm-hmm. What is
Strange.
that?
Just put strange. That's gotta be it.
Zephaniah.
Yeah.
That's spelled her right. Yeah, Zephaniah 1 and 8. And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children and all such as are clothed with strange apparel. You know, because the Lord don't want you being like these other heathens, man. Why would you downgrade anyways? You know, the Lord wants you having on the garments of righteousness, man. That's what he made us to have. It's Revelation 16 and 15. You know, for those of us who have the truth, it says, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. You know, them garments is this truth, this knowledge, man, and walking in it, you know, daily, you know, lest you walk naked. And the Lord is making Babylon naked. He's making the so-called white man, his rulership, everything about him, he's making his ass naked right now. And everybody is seeing his shame. Shameful spewing is upon America, you know. So back at Genesis 3 and 8, and they heard the voice of the Lord Yahweh walking in the garden in the cool of the day. The prophets.
Because voices don't walk.
Right.
Voices don't have feet to walk.
Right.
So that's talking about a prophet.
Right.
Okay. Luke chapter 1.
You got it? I got it.
Mm-hmm.
It's Luke chapter 1 and verse 670.
70.
Yeah, just get to the point. Luke chapter 1 verse 7 says, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began.
Ooh, since the world began. Wow. Phew. That's it. That's a cut right there. Yeah. So here, that means since the world began, right? So that means you have prophets in these times, you know. So and they heard the voice of the Lord Yahweh God walking in the garden in that land of Israel in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden. the trees, the other nations, man. You know, the other people that was dwelling around them. You know. Mm-hmm.
Mark chapter 8 and verse 24, showing that people, the Lord described people as men as trees. Mark chapter 8 and verse 24 says, and he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Right. JB trying to go, high past other nations and stuff.
Right.
Thinking the Lord don't see them.
Mm-hmm.
Or see your ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's why JB so hard into these different philosophies and stuff. They trying to get away from who they are, man. And the Lord sends the prophets out to call them out. Call them out on their nakedness, man. That's all right.
So it says, and they heard the voice of the Lord Yahweh walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord Yahweh called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. Yeah, because he knew
he went off.
He went off.
Yeah.
They ate of that tree. You know.
My bad. You can finish your point. I mean, say Adam was Yahushua, and he said, He said, keep your garments lest you be walked naked. Because he was found naked because he sinned. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he giving us on point.
That was deep right there.
Telling us to be on point.
Ooh. Man, that was verse 11. And he said, who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And of course the Heavenly Father already knows. Right. Verse 12, and the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. You like, you gave her to be with me, this damn woman. Right.
Jake, man.
Well,
she was nagging.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a continual dropping.
Right. Hey. Right.
I was like, all right then.
Hey, Jake first get a woman be in love. Like, you love that thing, boy. Then she turned into a demon. Like, at first you thinking the Lord for her. Right. You see a lot with these, especially over here in America with the so-called black and so-called black women. You see on the Instagram, it always be the man crying in the wedding. She walking up like a gangster and shit in her white dress, but the man sitting up there crying and shit. Oh God! But the divorce rate is over 53%. She put child support on your ass. She make your life a living hell.
And the same thing happened with King Solomon, man. Going after the woman. Will show you that they're the same people.
Yeah,
why
man.
King Solomon in the Proverbs always said, to keep thee away from the strange woman that flattereth with her tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs, you know what I'm saying? She had that talk, She got it.
Hey, verse 13. And the Lord Yahweh said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the Lord Yahweh said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And that was him speaking to the so-called white man in his earlier estate. And that's why they be finding preserved, what they call them, cavemen and shit, They look like they were eating the dust of the earth. They was walking on all fours at one point. This stuff is written in history books.
Yeah. Right. They're the lowest of the low.
Right.
Yeah, Job 30.
The basis of men.
That's right.
Yep. They didn't have an IQ, like the word that you like to use.
Right. They were praying.
Somebody get it.
No IQ.
What is that, Job 30? Job 30 in verse 1. It says Job's present state is humiliating, and Job is representing Israel. Because he was at a higher state and the Lord brought him low. And now he's looking at it like this, verse 1. But now they that are younger, you go into that word younger, it goes into more insignificant, deny, have me in derision. And that's the state of us Israelites, so-called Black, Latino, Native American man, in which the so-called white man who the Heavenly Father hates, he got us, in derision. He rules over us.
That was Psalm 5.
Who? Speak up for the camera.
I forget how it goes in Ecclesiastes. I seen princes walking.
Yeah.
Kings on horses. And
servants
on horses. To water.
That's right.
Wisdom of Solomon 5. Is this he who we had sometime in derision?
It says, "Whose fathers I will have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock." And Edomites they're into that bestiality and shit, man.
That's right.
You see them tongue kissing their dogs, and that's what they put on video. So imagine what the fuck else they do.
Worse.
So verse 2, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. That curse that they had. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time desolate in the waste. Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meats. They was living like animals. They was living below the cattle. They was driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. Hey, for one, back in the times of Cain, the Lord put a mark upon them. And even as Esau, Edom, it got to a point, the nations drove them out of that land of Edom, to dwell in the clefts of the valleys and caves of the earth and in the rocks. And in that land of Edom, which you call it Petra, is what? Cliffs, rocks, and then a lot of them went to where? The Caucasus Mountains, The Caucasus Mountains, that's over there, what? Georgia. Among the bushes they brayed. Like the Flintstones and shit. Under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And the brother Kananach just brought out elsewhere in the scriptures where it said the Lord set up the bases of men to rule the earth. And now that's the state of the earth right now. Esau, Edom, the serpent, So back in Genesis 3 and 15, it says, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman," meaning you're going to be set against the woman, "and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." Right. So the Lord put an enmity, put him against the seed of the woman, which is who? Israel. And
Jacob and Esau.
There you go.
In the womb. Natural born enemies.
Yep. In Revelation 12, it says that you want to get it?
Yeah.
I'm finna go to it. Give me one. 12, 17. I keep pressing that. Go ahead.
Revelation 12 and 17. "And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach."
Right, man. And that woman is Israel. Because it tells you she had, 12 stars as a crown. That's the 12 tribes. He made war with the remnant of her seed, man. That's the so-called white man who is that old serpent, the devil and Satan, making war with the remnant of Israel.
The great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord.
That's right.
You got something?
Yeah. Go ahead, This is Sirach 33 and 14. Alright, 33 and 14. It says, "Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly." Verse 15 says, "So I looked upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another."
There we go.
So that's how the Lord set it up. Jacob versus Esau. You already know Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow.
Which is beautiful. You mentioned that because going back to that Genesis, where it says, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Mm.
We're gonna take you know, through spirit power. We're gonna take them niggas down because you got. Because what it was, Elder Yashalom went into this the other day, which is spiritual. Because I was actually thinking about the same precept before he went into it. You bruise the head, you take a nigga out.
Mm-hmm.
And it says it shall bruise thy head. So the nation of Israel is gonna take you devils out, man. Okay, we're gonna take you out, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, a heel injury, Achilles heel, you're down for a moment, but you can bounce back. And we've been down, and now through the spirit we bouncing back.
That's right.
All right, thou shalt bruise his heel,
Yeah.
bruising the heel of the serpent. Because hey,
They bruising our heel. It says, verse 15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head. The woman's seed is going to bruise his head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. They bruising our heel.
That makes sense because if you hit the head, that's it. The body's done. You knock out.
If you read it in a different translation too, it'll clarify it better.
Con. You want me to go to it?
Yeah.
Genesis 3:15 NLT. It says, "And I will cause hostility between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will strike your head, and you will strike his heel."
That's heavy right there.
That makes sense because serpents are on the ground,
Right.
I'm saying, so of course, there's an imagery there too. If a serpent's on the ground, of course it's gonna bite your heel.
Right.
But in retaliation, you gonna stomp his head out.
You'll stop his head or shit or not that do that. God, you got a shovel, you just chop that fucking head off.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're higher than them.
Yeah.
Come. Verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Yep.
And that's why women have pain giving birth. That's what it started off. Because a woman went off.
Esau science can't stop that.
No.
Right. Can't stop it. And it's only going to stop in the kingdom of heaven for the Israelite woman. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
That's right.
Yeah,
No matter what the so-called Israelite woman do, she cannot exist and function without the Israelite.
Yep.
Right.
It don't matter what the fuck she say.
Right.
No matter what type of shit she talking.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the Israelite woman knows she needs and desires Israel.
She's still looking. She's still looking out for our validation, man.
Right.
Like she don't all that shit Eve doing, man. She don't give a fuck about all them. She care about our opinion, what we think about it, bro.
Right. See how we gonna react.
Yeah, if we mad, I'm mad.
Right.
All that shit.
They get their whole swag from Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Usually she say I don't need a man. As soon as she go home, she's crying because she don't need a man.
Yep.
Right.
You know, call her.
I can guarantee her first option is Jake.
Jake.
Talking about, I want to go be with Esau. I want to go be with the heathens. Fuck that shit, bro. You know you want.
Hey, Z, before you grab that, if I can read this verse in the NLT real fast.
This
Same verse. It says, then he said to the woman, I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth, and you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you.
That's how it be. Yeah, that anesthesia shit don't work.
Right.
Yep.
Teacher shit and the mind games always fail.
They always fucking fail.
They always fail. No matter, you ever notice no matter what women do, it always backfire on them. Anything they try to do to get around the order of a man being over, it always backfire on them. Always does.
Lawyer said is 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 2. Well, I'll start at verse 1. 1 Corinthians 11 verse 1, it says, Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Hamashiach. Verse 2, Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinance or the orders as I delivered them to you. verse 3. It says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach."
Yep.
All right, so there's an order. It says, "In the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is the Most High." So the Heavenly Father, Yahweh shot the man, then the woman.
Yep.
Mhm.
In that exact order.
Right.
That's right.
Completely.
And to be real, that's the best structure of a household, anyways, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's
right.
the only true structure.
That's right.
Right.
Throw on it, man. Throw
Right.
on it.
Right.
Because again, there is no household without the man.
Right. He's the
Right.
head of the house.
That's
Right.
That's why Abba,
Yep.
Father.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's the first letter. That's the first word of the
Of the
Hebrew dictionary.
Alphabet and dictionary, Abba Khan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there you go, man. All right, it begins with the man. That's why there's a heavenly father and not a heavenly mother.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. That's why all the nations are named after their patriarchs.
Yep.
Yep.
And plus,
All tribes.
And plus, at the end of the day, man, you look at it. If we, we always say there's always this analogy that pops up. For example, somebody busts through the front door. The woman not gonna jump in front of the man. She's gonna jump behind him, man,
Right.
to show that it's the man has that male dominance to protect, man. You women don't got that shit, man.
Right. That's why the Lord. It says in the scriptures, give honor unto her as the weaker vessel.
Yep, that's right.
You know, and that's giving honor to a wife that, that's with you as a believer. But Sirach 3:9 says, "For the blessing of the father establisheth the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out
You
foundations."
see that?
Yep.
It's big amongst our people. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
I got just to land back everything everybody's saying about the father. Hebrews 12:9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. And that's why you're supposed to honor thy father. Okay, that's why it starts honor thy father, and of course your mother. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? So it doesn't say mother of spirits, it says Father of spirits and live. So that's
Right.
where you give the respect to.
Right. So Genesis 3:17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, that thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. So that's where you get thorns and thistles and weeds,
Yeah.
and man having now you got to weed out. That's extra work.
Yeah.
That's a diligent work to keep weeds and stuff out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just did that this Sunday, man, pulling out the weeds out of my mother's garden, man.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Landscape.
Verse 19. In the sweat of thy I'm in the
What is it?
I'm in the KJV. In the sweat of thy face.
No, it's NLT.
Mm,
NLT, yeah.
I believe I think. Let me see. It's in it was in KJV just to be sure. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread. Yeah, man, you're gonna work for it. Till thou return unto the ground. I mean, you're gonna work till you die.
Yep.
For out of it was thou taken, for thus thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. Yep, that's why man gotta work and work and work and work and work and work.
That's why we need a kingdom.
Yep,
That's not the way the Lord set it up. We're supposed to be kings and priests.
yep,
That's why we've pretty much been slaves.
Yep.
You know, I mean, Jake has been slaves.
So,
You know, we ain't had no rest. That's why I should say what there remaineth a rest for the people of the Most High, man. All right. So from the beginning, from the jump, the Lord said, y'all gonna work until y'all die.
yep.
Basically, this is punishment.
Yeah.
That's punishment right there.
Right, from the Most High judgment.
Yep.
Right.
Jake be old as hell. My granddaddy, fucking damn it, 80 years old, out there with his old ass pickup truck. The pickup truck down and about to fall apart.
Right.
Got holes in it and shit. In the bed. Working. But hey, if you don't work, you don't eat.
No eat. That's it.
Yeah, he said.
Mm-hmm.
this book of Haggai, chapter 1
1.
I got chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, "Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways." Verse 6, it says, "Ye have sown much, and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes." Man.
Read the number 7. Read number 7.
Number 7. So
Yeah.
it says, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways."
Consider, he's had to say it twice.
Yeah.
And that's what we're telling our people. Like, you need to seek the Lord.
Yeah.
All right? This is punishment, man. All right? That's why he said, consider your ways in the 5th verse. Then in the 6th verse, he explains, all right, whatever you make, you're going to be shelling it right back out. And in the 7th, consider your ways again.
Right, because in this point, Haggai's rebuking those Israelites who came back, from exile, who was building up their own stuff without worrying about building up back Jerusalem and to be back serving the Lord.
Right.
Consider your ways. Supposed to be building up the walls, building up the temple again, in which what we're doing it spiritually, man.
Right.
Serving Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. While the rest of our people, they ain't serving the Lord, and they still fucked up.
Right, right. That's why, with the whole inflation and Jake, catching it the worst, that's been going on. That's been going on. That's nothing new under the sun. That's been going on in this kingdom and the prior kingdoms,
See, we all suffering.
Right.
Jake is suffering, point blank, period. Jake is under the so-called white man. You under his laws, subject to payments, but you got to suffering for righteousness, though.
Right.
And with the brothers and the sisters who are suffering for righteousness, the Lord look out for you. He keep you.
Now you mentioned subject to payments. That's what you was looking for?
No. Oh, you got it. Oh, that's right. No.
That's what you brought.
Adam and Eve can't enjoy Eden. Right?
Yep.
They can't enjoy paradise because they always working.
Yeah.
Especially
today, bro.
Yeah.
We don't got, bro. We really supposed to be sitting in nature, going nature watching and stuff like that. You don't got time to do none of that, man. All right. It's always
It's a punishment.
always at the plantation, bro. So,
It's
Right.
yeah.
Well,
the
that's
Lord
true.
trying to remember what
Lord,
it
too.
is.
No more sorrows.
Yep.
Baruch 3:8.
3 and 8.
Yeah, 3 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3, and verse 8. Hold on. I'll just get straight to it. Matter of fact, start at 6, verse 6 real quick. It says, "For thou art the Lord, our God, and thee, O Lord, will we praise. And for this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity," because we're in captivity right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. "For we have called to mind the iniquity of our forefathers that sinned before thee. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse." So it don't matter where Israel is throughout the whole world, bro. Catching it, bro.
On the bottom.
On the bottom.
So you shall serve your enemies.
That's why God. That's why the scripture says Jacob's trouble, man. All right, because Jacob's already in hell. So when this society that you rely upon so much collapses, like you said, we shall go unto your enemies for one of our things. You won't catch it the worst.
That's right.
It says, "For a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God."
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why we in this condition, man. Shit, take all the way back to Genesis, right?
You can also read 9.
You said verse 9 as well. Verse 9. "Hear, Israel, the commandment of life. Give ear to understand wisdom." Right.
Yep.
So consider.
Consider. That's right.
Yeah,
Consider your ways. That's what Jake ain't understanding, the statistics been there. They've been reporting year before the pandemic, before Okay, all the 2008 economic collapse. Jake been at the bottom catching financial hell, but they weren't considering why this was happening.
Right.
They were not considering. Apostles were out there telling them
Yeah.
on the highways and byways, our leaders.
Right.
And then we saw on YouTube the reasoning behind when we first woke up to this truth. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this makes a lot of sense.
The answers is in the scriptures, man.
Yep. Through the
That's where
scriptures.
you're gonna find your answers, not in no Africana studies class,
Right.
not in no fucking Black Panther, not in no Nation of Islam, not in no fucking getting 4 degrees and shit. None of that stupid shit. 'Cause it has not fixed our people.
And aprons.
Right.
Aprons.
Right.
That's what that shit is. Fig
Right.
leaves and aprons. Imagine wearing clothes made out of fig leaves, man. That shit, hey, you clothy and you are not warm, man.
Right.
It don't protect you from no heat. It don't protect you from bugs. It don't protect you from cold.
That's beautiful. You said that. The Lord said, I made winter.
Right.
I made, the time and seasons. Yet they wear fig trees and they made winter.
The
and
NFL
summer.
ain't
Come
gonna
on.
do it. The NBA ain't gonna do it.
They don't provide you no covering, man.
Right.
Right.
They'll suspend you, take away your career, and even after, if you do have a career, because most people don't.
Right.
The average career be like a couple years or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
They show you the big names, of course, but the average career is only a couple years.
Right.
And those who do have a career, they fucked up. They got fucking CTE. They legs gone. They die early.
Right.
And they don't fix their community.
Right. And then out of nowhere, some woman saying, he touched me inappropriately.
Boom, there you go. And now 25 of them dead. But nobody said nothing at
Bill
first.
Cosby.
But Genesis 3 and 20, and Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living.
Yep.
Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord Yahweh make coats of skins and clothed them. And the Lord Yahweh said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord Yahweh sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Right. So boom, that's what started this whole ordeal. Now the Lord did make coats of skins and clothed them, so that's how Abel was able to know to do a sacrifice, a righteous sacrifice.
The law, statutes, commandments.
Right.
Right.
The wisdom of the Most High.
Right.
But that punishment was still upon them for going off.
Right.
He had mercy upon him.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Verse
right.
1, he basically built them up again.
Mm-hmm.
Civilized them again.
Right. The cherubims, a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. We ain't gonna get that back until Yahweh shall come.
Come back, yeah.
Which we're starting to receive it back now with this truth, in belief in Yahweh Shah, who really is that tree of life, but it's gonna be fully obtained, fully apprehended when he come and deliver up New Jerusalem. And New Jerusalem come down from heaven, and in the midst, of the city was a tree of life.
It's
Right.
We're gonna live forever, for real. So
God. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash.
double honor to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect. Kwame Asharala.
Kwame Asharala.
Bob the Ball.
Bob Ball. Shalom.